We are headed out of Las Vegas in the middle of the night. Thought I'd go live for the portion of the trip we can until the Wi-Fi dies. Never know what we're going to see as we drive on Charleston down to the freeway, as far out as we can go, on our way to Hoover Dam into Arizona on a Friday night into a Saturday morning. Appreciate y'all being here. It's a beautiful time in Vegas in the middle of the night. 49 degrees, going to drop even lower tonight. High temperatures next several days. Not very warm. If you're up, you're watching right now, this is not a normal time we would be on. If you're watching this on the replay, it's probably the normal time you would be on. This is eastbound on Charleston, a lot of construction. It's the only time that this traffic actually moves is in the middle of the night here. Take it slow and easy. Not much traffic right now, which is expected. I'm sure on the freeways have to be careful this hour unless you're actually leaving Las Vegas or leaving work for home or the other way around. There's only a few other reasons why you'd be on the road right now. Safety is not one of those. Just a convenience store. The gentleman tried to purchase an alcoholic beverage. The salesperson would not sell due to no ID. So the person put the beer off to the side and then asked the next person to purchase it for him. Well, they tried to do that, and then the salesperson explained again, it doesn't matter who purchases it, the fact that the person without ID would be consuming it, they couldn't sell it. It's almost time to leave there without my purchase, but eventually resolved itself. They both left. I was able to get my snacks and on our way here. Middle of the night, traffic lights don't trip. Sometimes in some places you pull up and it trips the light for you. You get to sit here through all the entire length of the lights. Feel free to drop into the chat where you're watching from. What's your city? What's your state? What's your community? What's your country? It's always great to see people from all over right here live with us. Rally is also at Checkers right there. Delicious. If you have insomnia and you're up watching, or you're in another part of the world where it's daytime, welcome. And again, if you're on the replay, it's great to have you here. This is Eastern. We're going to go ahead and make a southbound turn as it appears that construction continues a long distance here on Charleston. As much as I like being tied up in traffic, I think we'll try to avoid it. There will be intermittent internet between here and the Arizona border. Once we get into the mountains right at the about 5 or 7 miles from the border, we'll probably lose internet connection there. Try to keep it on as long as we can, even through the mountains. If it regains consciousness as we go into Arizona, we will keep it on as far as we can go. Get out on the other side in the straightaway into Kingman. Get on to Interstate 40 from Kingman, head eastbound until they turn off towards Wickiup, Wickenburg, and down to Phoenix. Live tonight, Saturday night, or Saturday morning now, Friday night. 35 speed limit. We'll go ahead and slow it down a little bit. How you doing? Welcome. It's not your normal tour of Las Vegas. We're not doing the Strip. We're not doing Fremont. We're doing the Escape from Vegas. We'll intersect with Sahara up here. We'll make an eastbound turn. Yeah, no traffic, Ed. Thank goodness. Was going to drive last night, but decided to sleep a few hours first before going. Safety first, always our motto here at Cash or Crash Las Vegas Live. Unless, of course, it's not safe and fun, and sometimes we do that as well. Hope you all had an awesome Friday. We had 2 lives on Friday. Get a chance to check it out with April Brucker and with Kevin Burke. Of course, Santa Claus showing up for the First Friday event. Big hit with everyone, more so the adults than the kids. This road will take us down to the Boulder Highway, which we will go southbound on to intersect with the freeway. Once on the freeway, that's probably the most dangerous portion of this trip right now, as people tend to drive way too fast, especially this time of night. Dark and quiet. Definitely, Ed. It's always great to drive at night on long trips. Usually there's not a bunch of traffic to hold you up. I prefer it when it's big bright moon to kind of illuminate the mountains. When you have city lights like this, it's good. And I think there'll be enough traffic, at least all the way down to the cutoff to Phoenix off of Interstate 40, that I'll be able to see the road ahead of me. Plus, I've driven this so many times, kind of memorized it. That's still, you got to watch out for hazards, animals, stopped vehicles, people driving too fast, debris in the road. During the daytime, you can get a pretty good speed going, you know, right up to the speed limit. Nighttime, sometimes in the mountains with the curves and such, you want to slow it down a bit. So it takes a little bit longer at night, but it's still a lot easier, smoother drive. Boulder Highway can take this all the way down to Henderson and past towards Boulder City. We're going to jump onto the freeway, however. There's the Boulder Station Hotel Casino up there on the left. Only been there one time this trip back. Used to go there quite a bit the previous trip. Middle of the night driving in Las Vegas. Almost like a video game right now. You're trying to figure out what these other cars are here for, why they're here, what they're going to do. I'm going to peel off this road onto the next one. If we're lucky, there'll be road construction and other cars. That's right. Night drive with Cash or Crash. I'm going to try not to do the crash part, Roscoe. No button bangers. 55-mile-an-hour speed limit due to the construction. We'll take advantage of that and not exceed it. But I always drive on these roads. I get an eye on the rearview mirror for that guy coming up super fast, like we have right now. He's in the fast lane. See how fast they exceed the speed limit past you. It's not like the police aren't out looking for that. Give them every opportunity to pull you over. Don't drink and drive. My pleasure. Glad to turn it on. There goes one on the right, one on the left. And driving the speed limit, not very popular right now. Figure what the heck, I'm doing it anyway. I missed your chat. I apologize. Emerald Island Casino in downtown Henderson. I got the contact information. I'd like to do a group. Would love to do the group, and I love the Emerald Island. Been there a few times. It's a great casino in Henderson. You guys are just flying past me, way up there. Always wait for the light bars to go on. There's never an officer around when you think you want one like this. And occasionally you don't want them around and you flip the lights on when you're doing 5 or 10 over. Back up to 65 mile an hour speed limit here with no more construction in our general area. Take the middle lane. There's another person in a hurry in the middle of the night. Let us market you. How you doing? The email you can send it to is stevedennis2121@gmail.com. That's STEVEDENNIS 2121@gmail.com. That's the channel email. I will find that. I will respond eventually. Probably won't be responding on the next 5 or 6 hours here on the trip through the mountains and such. One of the good things about driving at night is if there's less traffic and you need to pull over for a break, you don't have to pull all the way off the freeways or highways. You can just pull over. I'm doing well. Got a few hours sleep from our second live stream last night. Spent some time with Kevin Burke and with April Brucker and the other guy. It was great on the second live stream. We're having Mexican food and telling stories about Vegas and show business. It's great to listen to April and Kevin talk. They had some similar encounters or similar places they worked back in New York and other places on the comedy circuit. Some very funny stuff. Decided to go live after they told the stories we couldn't share on YouTube. Neat little walk through Main Street, first Friday. Got a car coming up pretty quick in the center lane. I'm in the center lane. It's not like there's not a lane to the right or the left. So I'm going to go ahead and pull over to the right and allow them to pass. Because apparently the center lane is the only lane this person knows how to drive in. No tail light candidate for being pulled over. Not the tail light, I'm sorry, the license plate light. I've been pulled over for that. Texas and other places. I just had to go replace my light, but certainly don't want to be intoxicated, influenced, or carrying. And I like this when that happens to you. The daytime when this traffic backs up over in this intersection, the 2 freeways, you can head up west towards the Strip and the airport, and southeast towards Henderson and down into Boulder City. Sometimes this will back up quite a bit here. Got the Sunset Station's off to the right. Another one of my favorite casinos in Vegas. The Henderson Fiesta Henderson, it's still closed. And of course the Railroad Pass, which is fast becoming, if not the favorite casino in Henderson area and Boulder City area. The favorite. Stop there on the way back every time. It's a great place to use their facilities, nice and clean. And I love the games. Everything from penny Keno to the $2 lightning links, Buffalo, Kenny Rogers, video poker. No live coin machines like we had down in California, but still a neat place, bright, and actually hit jackpots there. Last time we were there, the guy had the 4 times 6 spots, 6 out of 6. He had put 6 over 6 over 6 over 6 on the entire top row, hit the entire top row, and hit all 4 cards. First time I've ever seen that with that pattern. I always hope for that when I do the 7 spots. On a quarter bet, doing that, it would have been a $28,000 payback. On the nickel, of course, it'd be about $5,200, something like that. Philip Wright, how you doing? How's it going tonight? Just doing a leisurely drive to Arizona in the middle of the night. Avoid all the traffic backups and issues. Gambler in the USA says, is the hole already dug? Which hole would that be? I hope I'm reading that right. Is the hole already dug? If you can explain that more, I'll be happy to answer it with a serious and or semi-serious response. $49 degrees this side of town as well. Chilly tonight, chilly tomorrow. It's had some pretty much, not record heat here, but, oh, good fellas, how you doing? I get it. Yeah, middle of the night. Great opening to a great movie. Sorry I didn't pick right up on that. Don't have the thumping in the trunk. Just woke up for a quick snack and said, live, yeah. Slept a few hours after our last live, and I got to head to Arizona. Got a time lag. I'd be there by 9 in the morning Arizona time. So I slept as long as I could, loaded up the car, grabbed just enough gas at the super high price here to go get more gas in Kingman. Head on down. If I fill up in Kingman with this nice rental car that I've been using, I can fill up in Kingman, get all the way down to Phoenix and all the way back, still have half a tank, fill up again and bring it all the way into Vegas again on Sunday. It's a Nissan Altima. It's a rental car. I was struck by a driver at the end of October, and they dislodged the rear bumper. The mechanics or the shops, the body shops, couldn't find the parts, couldn't get the pieces needed. And so I've been on the rental car from the insured person's paying for it ever since then. Gas is $4.11 around where Ed's at. I just paid $3.89 at a Circle K here in Vegas. I can get down to about $3.50 in Kingman. Used to be a lot cheaper in Kingman, but it's gone way up, and Phoenix is pretty much matching Vegas at this point. Got that video about a year ago. It was November of last year, $1.59 a gallon in Temple, Texas. Paid $1.79 in Dallas-Fort Worth area. All about a year ago, back when I was just filming anything and everything to get content out there. About $3 now in Dallas-Fort Worth, yep. Was there for Thanksgiving in Austin, and 270s, not uncommon. They were complaining about the price. They've been below $2. No comment as to why. Everyone knows why. Hole in the desert, 8 miles out of town, 6 feet down. 86 somebody. That's I'm sure that's just a rumor and a movie plot, or it actually happened a lot. Not in a long time. In fact, in our conversations with Metro Police and all that, back when we had the casino, actually both casinos, said they don't do that stuff. Certainly don't do that stuff. I'm sure back in the 40s and 50s when it was more of a Wild West town, that may or may not have happened a few times. Or a lot. Just checking out the Up and Our Way group. Enrique and Melissa were out live last night. They're going to be on Fremont Saturday night. Love their content. Check them out. Up and Our Way. Up and Our Way. It's the and sign. I'll be live Saturday night in Arizona, Casino, Arizona. Go down and play some nickel Keno, my old haunting grounds. Love that casino. It's got cheap enough games you can play it for a long time, not break the bank. This is near the College of Southern Nevada up here. We're going over the highlands into the Henderson Valley. There'll be another little rise on the way out of the valley. So when we jump out onto Interstate 11. I guess they call this Interstate 11 here as well. How long did it take to get 1,000 subs as I weave back and forth in the lane? That's a great question. It actually took me, I started on the 4th of November in 2020, and I believe it was April 26th of 2021 that I hit 1,000 subs. Ever see UFOs out here? Yes, all the time. Did I stumble upon the last scenes of, hold on, Terminator 2? That's exactly what it is. Isn't that the sound from it? Terminator 2 right here. Trying to escape. Is that the one to the mountain, or is that the third one? It's dark and eerie. Typically on the portion over the next hill, there's usually one or two highway patrolmen sitting on the highway. A couple different areas along Interstate 11. Not sure if at this hour they'd be doing that. They may be doing other things, but we'll certainly be safe. Joy, how you doing? Good to see you here. Where's Kevin Burke? He's, I don't know where he's at right now. He was on with us earlier. He's back in Vegas. If you ever seen Defending the Caveman or his show Fits of Laughter or any of his other stuff that he's done. Fantastic entertainer, funny guy. And apparently my twin, although I've lost some of the excess weight recently, so I like to think I'm a better looking dude than him, but whatever. Not to be egotistic. Oh, got a guy coming up real fast behind me, just flying up on me. Okay, slowing down, same lane. You can go around, buddy, you can go around. So I'm going to change lanes again to allow this guy the opportunity to pass me because he doesn't know how to change lanes. Now he's slowed way down. What you don't know is a driver in my conversations with law enforcement, something like that what just happened there is a reason to pull someone over. Reasonable suspicion, driving erratically, coming up really fast behind and slowing down. Drove between Jackpot and Elko one night, no moon, no lights. Never seen a highway so black out. Oh yeah. I'm gonna pull back over to my lane. Yeah, some of these drives, when there is no moon or it's cloudy, can be very, very eerie. Many years ago, in the early 80s, my older brother and I drove up to Flagstaff from Phoenix and then down through Sedona and pulled into a side highway, and the hills were glowing. The forest area was kind of glowing, like there's a factory or something there. And so we just kind of were driving along. All of a sudden the engine died. Just completely shut down, lost all power, couldn't turn a radio on, couldn't do anything. And we just sat there for a little bit, just chatting. He wasn't concerned at all. And then, what do we got going here now? Guy's got his brake lights on. So the same guy is still right behind me, and this guy in front of me with his riding his brakes and his turn signal. Anyway, after a little bit of time, he turns to me, he goes, okay, try it now. So I started it up, fired right up, and off we went. Drove back to Phoenix. Years later, I remembered, you know, he was always doing stuff like that. And I gotta believe he knew there was some kind of an electromagnetic pulse test or something going on. He was always involved in like the stealth bomber programs and the harm ray, changing the weather in Russia. And it was just odd that he never really told me why we were going on this drive, but for it to be there a good half hour or so where we couldn't even start the car. And then off we go. So that was really spooky. I didn't know if it was aliens or a military test or just bad timing or bad luck, but very bizarre. Same car behind me. Now we got a big truck coming up on us. dangers of driving at night is the other people. You make a south turn here down to Searchlight. Take it all the way down over Laughlin, through the mountains, back into Arizona. A little bit longer trip. Time, it's fun to go that way. But you want to go 30 miles an hour or 20 miles an hour through Searchlight. They have the speed limit signs up, and you need to follow them because that's how they make a lot of their money for that community. A lot of tickets. We'll take this as far as we can into the mountains before we lose signal, but if you want to hang tight as we do that, I'm going to try to keep it on. I know once we get across Hoover Dam, it'll pick up the signal again, then it'll be intermittent as we go through the mountains into the flatlands of Arizona. And there's about a 70-mile trip into Kingman. I don't think it's a cop. Not with the guy passing me so fast like that. It's a small white car, and he's weaving back and forth. So I'm going to give him the lane again. Gonna let him go. Here he comes, taking advantage of the lane. Doesn't know how to signal or go around. There he is. Nevada plates. Now they're in front of me, which is nice. Now they'll speed up, do their thing. Got a video of a accident cleanup earlier today, about a minute and a half. I haven't figured out how to put it out yet. But it shows all these cars in the intersection, and then a Nevada highway patrolman gets behind it, lines up, and then pushes the damaged vehicle out of the roadway. It's a pretty cool video. I figured out how I can do it in under a minute, so it can be a short. Maybe do the full minute and a half. A lot of cool stuff happening that's just short clips of Vegas, little scenes here and there. Yep, driving to Phoenix right now. Get as far as I can before I'll pull over for a quick nap somewhere along the highway. This is the road, not this one, I'm sorry. The other road is the one that Clint Eastwood drove in The Gauntlet with Sandra Locke, where he had to transport the witness from Vegas down to Phoenix, and then had all the stuff go on there. I enjoyed driving the other way because you get to that point between Arizona and Nevada where they had a battle there with people trying to take them out, and making the drive all the way down and seeing the places they had stopped. A lot of those places have been torn down now. During the daytime, 4.5 to 5 hours. At night, it'll be 5.5 to 6 hours. There's less traffic to go with the flow with. You see that car up in front now? He's pulled behind that truck. Is now riding behind the truck. And the sign, the probable cause there is that he's focusing on the vehicle in front of him. I don't know if he drove a motorcycle. I know they drove a Greyhound bus at one point. I think they picked that up in Wickenburg. May have driven a motorcycle. But mostly they were in a taxi, then they got a police car. No, they were in the police car, and then got into some stuff there. Then they somehow got in another car, a taxi, and let the officer drive in front of them, and all kinds of stuff. It was really cool. Brother loves Sedona, takes a family there on vacation a lot. Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world. A lot of pyramids and tinfoil hats and crystals and things going on there. Red Rock Canyons, beautiful lakes and rivers. Arizona is such a diverse state. You have everything from deep down deserts to the high mountains with snow on them. Everything in between. Going to ASU back in the day, you could, 75, 80 degrees at Phoenix as you leave, and go up there and ski on the snow bowl. 30 degrees below zero with wind chill factors. Says we got about 9 miles to the border. We probably got 4 or 5 miles of good signal. That'll be intermittent. Don't panic. Yeah, the people are fantastic. Very earthy, very friendly, very community minded. It's very expensive out there now. Very expensive. A lot of the well-to-do Phoenicians will live in the mountains. They might get their second or third homes up there. I was out here one time recently. We saw what we thought was a UFO. Captured that video. And of course, back on January 2nd, I believe it was, of this year, driving back from Vegas to Phoenix, doing the Highway 74 Carefree Highway, and off in the distance saw a bunch of orbs in the sky. Captured about 3 minutes of it. That video got several hundred views early on in our channel, and it was picked up by many channels around the world, including a Korean channel that actually used that footage in a full 15 or 20 minute documentary on unexplained phenomenon. The UFO Institute took the video and showed it. I had a clip, like 1 minute of it, tried to zoom in on it, but of course it's that bouncy video. I was hand holding the camera, didn't have the stand to put it in. Debris in the road there. And it's one of those like Bigfoot where you can see what you can see, you're not quite sure. I think what I was actually trying to do is show the saguaro cactus. Yes, Phoenix is growing super fast. It's growing way up north into the mountains, growing west towards LA. You know, it's almost like they're gonna grow together at some point. South, it can't really grow because of the Indian reservation down there, the Gila River. But then past that down to Casa Grande and down to Tucson is all growing. And then east into the mountains, places that used to just be mobile homes or trailer homes only because there's no water, now are full-on communities with luxury places. The northeast growth, not so much into the national parks and all that, but Fountain Hills, North Scottsdale really growing. Cast of Breaking Bad said in the high deserts, colors are much more vibrant. Yes, it's very true. Just depends on the time of year. But you can also see it a lot clearer when you're away from civilization. The air is clear. Get the bright moonlights, the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas, New Mexico. And then of course daytime, just a whole different view depending on the shadows, time of day, time of year. Almost the Indiana Jones type stuff where 2 times a year the sun is in the right angle to see the caves. Go find the Lost Dutchman's gold or any of the other mines out there. A lot of copper mines and silver mines. Used to drive out in the desert, just go spelunking or drive up riverbeds and go camping, just check it out. Now we're getting ready to lose some signal up in here depending on how much it's blocked out. So I'm gonna leave the camera on, I'm gonna leave the phone on, and it'll regain at some point and then drop out again. So don't despair. If you're with us, driving to Arizona, it is what it is. Typically on the other side of this hill is where we lose it for a little bit, but it will come back and forth. If it's buffering, it's buffering. Appreciate you joining us tonight or today, wherever that you're watching from. All right, Ed, we're going to lose your signal. Have a good night's sleep, and we definitely have safe travels. Live tomorrow night somewhere in Arizona. Yeah, I hate the headlights coming at me. And this bridge indicates you've made back and forth, buffer, no buffer. Some pretty good sized hills on both sides of the highway. Now it goes down quite a bit. It's steep grade for the next several miles. Got to ride the brake on this part, otherwise you get a real good speed going. And with the curves, they're very dangerous. One of our trips back, we saw the car carrier, the mobile hauler, the automobile hauler, that apparently the brakes had caught on fire, shut down the bridge. It was a couple, 3 months ago now. Hoover Dam cough up here. Do the walk out onto the Pat Tillman Bridge. See the dam tour, get some dam bait. It's another place, there's not a whole lot of wildlife on this portion of the road, but there's a lot of debris at times. Especially when people don't pay attention, they hit the guardrails over here. Parts of their car fall off. The Hoover Dam Hotel, their exit right here off the left. They have a Dottie's Casino there. Way back, drive all the way from Phoenix. That was one of the places that would always have a hotel room until all the truckers took them. Exit number 2, this will take you to the Hoover Dam walkover. And you can't take the dam into Arizona anymore. They've shut that road down. You have to come all the way back out here. A couple of more mountain passes here. We're going to lose signal again. We'll be back and forth. Appreciate you hitting the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Lots of great content in Arizona and Nevada. Mostly Vegas stuff now. Relocated to open the new hotel. Another vehicle coming up fast in our lane. But this guy looks like he's going to change lanes, which is nice. Some sort of truck. Texas plates. They got a long way to go. All the way to El Paso or Amarillo. Surprised at how much signal we've had so far. Oh. Watched Melissa and her husband last night. They walked in a different area of Vegas. Oh, cool. Yep, that's great. Great stuff. Love their channel. I'm hoping that we stay live as we go across the bridge here. We're in Alamogordo. Let me see, I can't read that while I'm driving. Sorry, it says, here in Alamogordo, ever been? Yes. Driven through Alamogordo, through Shiprock, through the White Sands area, Hobbs, down south, of course, taking Interstate 10 across from Tucson to El Paso, Hatch, all over New Mexico. Beautiful country. Las Cruces. Here's the bridge. All right, gonna pass into Arizona here. Halfway across the bridge. Ever been to Canada? You bet. Lots. Used to drive the Alcan Highway. British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario. Went to London, Ontario. Been to Montreal, Quebec, Northwest Territory, Yukon Territory. All over. Canada, our neighbor to the south, growing up in Fairbanks, Alaska. Used to drive into Whitehorse to cash in American currency for Canadian currency. Then we take the Canadian currency and purchase Canadian coin, bring the Canadian coin back to Alaska where the quarters down to the pennies exchange at the face value. So we'd make 30% on our money. Then they eventually outlawed that. Plus it was a long drive. I mean, it really wasn't worth it unless you're going to do a big chunk that way. It's like international currency traders. They kind of do that, but different. If you're spending pocket change in Fairbanks or Anchorage, you'll get Canadian coin with your U.S. coin. Sometimes nickels and pennies, you get that in Scottsdale, Phoenix, Tempe, but not to the level that we did in Alaska. Have a great Canadian coin collection when I was in Alaska. Sold it off. When I was in Arizona, I had a coin shop that I'd go to and I'd actually buy all their Canadian money at 50% of face value. And then I'd go back to Alaska for the summer and then spend it. It's a great way to repatriate the coins, but also make some money on the trip. It's just odd going through security. Back then, you didn't have all the security measures now. That was back in the 80s. But you had to, I had to run the bag of coins through the metal detector or the scanner. They'd always ask me what it is, and they'd always take a look at it because it's unusual for someone to bring a bag of coins with them on an airplane. Sometimes I have 2 or 3 bags. Amazing amount of internet signal this trip. Some great areas on the Arizona side here for hiking. There's a White River Canyon. What is the first? Hopefully you guys are still with me. There you are, you're back. miss the coin shows or the coin slots. Yeah, we're going to do the coin slots down at the downtown hotels that do that. Should be back. Hopefully you can see me. It'll be in and out here. There's a couple more places. The California has them. The El Cortez has them. Really had a great time with the quarter slots or the poker there, especially because I hit the jackpot. Or, you know, 4 threes, quad threes for $100, 400 coins. Played the dollar slots at El Cortez the other night. Unfortunately, the music up above it, playing in the casino, I had to cut that out. Hit a double, triple cherries. It's fun to hear the coins drop. This is that truck that passed. Guess there's less internet, more internet here. There's still some others out in the countryside here in Nevada. Elko and places like that still have coin slots. Jackpot, Nevada. I think it's called the Routes. I don't know what it's called. Route 93 Casino. It's just as you head south into Nevada from Idaho. It's one on the right. Love that place. Had a couple sun and moon machines that kicked my butt, but they had a lot of nickel slots, including the video ones and the poker. It's been a couple years since I've been there. You won 1,000 slots of fun back in, oh yeah. So slots of fun right outside Circus. Awesome. Fantastic place. Used to play 50 cent and quarter craps. They had a craps table right on the sidewalk there, and you'd play with the street people, the homeless people, and that's where I learned the game of craps. I love to play craps, but it takes a lot of time. The 5-cent video poker used to be awesome. I would play at the Fremont or Binion's back in the 80s. Back. The 50-cent roulette at slots of fun too, yes. But the video poker, I would do it, and I would for the machines back then. And these old guys behind me criticizing the way I play. And so I'd finally just turn around to them and go, "What's the problem?" They go, "You suck." I'm like, "I know. I'm trying to lose my money." And they couldn't understand that. So I'd buy another roll of nickels, and then I'd buy another roll of nickels when the change lady would come by. I just didn't want to give up the machine because they were annoying. And it just pissed them off. It was more fun to lose that $50 in nickels than it would have been to hit a jackpot, just to hear them piss and moan. That was in 1985. Remember that trip? I was living in Denver, and cable in Denver, I went there to make it big in radio and whatever else I thought I was going to do. Real estate courses. My good friend from college lived there. And after I cashed Denver chips and was driving back to Arizona, I got to Flagstaff, and instead of heading south to Phoenix, I just kept on going and came all the way out here to Arizona, or to Nevada, to Vegas, checked into a hotel, and basically spent the rest of my money, except for $13 for gas to get all the way back to Phoenix. And I picked 13 on purpose because it was an unlucky number. It was a miserable time in Denver. I didn't enjoy it very much at the time. I didn't achieve my goals. So it's one of those times in your life you just are down on your luck, and what the hell, let's just go to Vegas. And my grandma lived in a small town called Congress, Arizona, between Phoenix and Vegas. It's just north of Wickenburg. And I remember driving, I used up most of the gas, and I just popped in to see Grandma back in the 80s and chatted with her for a little bit. She gave me some food and $5 for gas to get all the way back home. That's back when gas was 60 cents a gallon. So $5 got me a lot of gas. It was great. But I remember I was downtown. The Fremont Street experience really hadn't developed yet. General idea. They were starting to put the canopy over the top. It wasn't complete like it is now. Back in the early days of Vegas. Had no idea that I would work in Vegas one day. I always wanted to. Almost got a job as an eye in the sky, security. Very cool. Or at least I thought it would be. Paid really good money back then. Really good money for the 80s and 90s. But you had to be secretive. You couldn't tell anybody what you did. That's now. Last frontier days, exactly. We would, when I interviewed for the position of the folks, we actually went in a separate door. You had to dress in street clothes. You couldn't talk to any other employees. And we would pull ourselves around on a cart, like a luggage cart, or if you're building a tunnel under the border of Mexico, you ride these little carts, and you're just on your belly the whole time, and you work 4 or 5 hours, you take a break, other eye in the skies, we'll get it, there we go, we're back. Hopefully it's coming in clear now. We did the little buffer there. We're gonna hit another couple of buffers here. There's another big mountain we have to go around, but just stay with me. But anyway, they would watch they would actually have you pledge, some studying. I'd, talk with a bunch of people. Here's how to cheat on poker. I'm not the greatest. All right, we're back. I've seen 50-cent reel slots. In fact, there's a bunch of them all over Vegas right now in the non-strip casinos, or even my favorite one down at the Four Queens. The quarter, the 50-cent, or the dollar denomination on the double, triple cherries. So there's a bunch of. I would cash it out, and then I would go through the coins, find the 40% silver ones, collectible dates, whatever it might be. That was back my coin collecting days. Love the half-dollar machines. Here's that same white car. Made it all the way here into Arizona. Oh, he's going to turn into that guy. I'm going to pull back. We got an accident going to happen here, don't we? Internet, in and out. Yeah, there's my favorite half-dollar jackpots. Had wife, a bunch of kids, our foster kids with us, and we took off. It was warm in Long Beach and it was snowing in Reno, and I wasn't prepared for it. But I went to my OSHA classes, got my certification, and as we're leaving, I was sick. I felt really ill, so we stopped in Carson City and checked into the Ormsby house, and we got a bunch of NyQuil, whatever it was, and I slept all day trying to get over this thing because we still had a long trip to go. And I remember waking up about 11 o'clock at night. Everyone else was asleep. Now I'm wide awake. So I went down to the casino, a small casino, and they had a half-dollar machine, an old ancient half-dollar machine, 3-reel, one-arm bandit, fantastic. Couldn't even put the bills in it. It was all actual half-dollars, I believe. No, I think, you could put the bills in. I remember, I'm sorry, because that's part of the story. Put the $100 bill into it, played a couple times, hit cash out, and it had no coins in it. The Matrix, yes. And then they had to go wake a guy up, get into the vault, and fill up the thing. So they brought out 2 bags of half-dollars, dumped them in there. Well, now there's like a handful of people in the casino, and so they're all watching me. I'm the only guy playing, so now I got to play. I was just going to cash out the coins and go to my room. So I was playing and slowly going through the halves as I was feeding them in there. I hit a 4 aces jackpot on whatever the type of game it was, and or 3 aces, 4 aces, however it was back in the day. I'm losing my memory now. Whatever it was I hit was a $400 jackpot in half-dollars. And so I hit the button, cashed out again. They had to come refill it a second time. I had buckets and buckets of half-dollars I took up to the room, spent the night not sleeping, went through it, and dropped a bunch of them back into the cage. But I probably brought $400 worth of half-dollars with me back to Long Beach. And then I sold them on eBay. I sold them as $20 or 20 coin rolls of $10 each as Carson City half-dollars. And then I explained that I won these coins in Carson City at the Ormsby house. And I was selling a $10 roll for 20 bucks plus shipping back in 1999 on eBay. I sold out the entire lot of them. You would get all different dates. You get 1 silver coin. And so I doubled my jackpot again by selling them on eBay. This is back when eBay would only charge 10 cents per item that you sold, and shipping, I could ship a roll of half-dollars for $1.50 back then. Nowadays it'd be like $9. Always wanted to go back, always wanted to find that machine again and cash it out. Never did. When I lived here in Vegas before, I would actually go down to the D, like I said, and I would actually cash out, set the 40% silver halves off to the side. They were from 1965 through 1970 were 40% silver, and some of the 1976 collector coins. And as I'd get a large collection together, I'd go to Sahara Coin and Stamps and sell them off to them, wholesale them out. Another way to make money. Casinos. Silver dollar machines we had at the Clarion Greek Isles Hotel Casino. We had an actual coin dollar Wheel of Fortunes. And Rick Hernandez, who's on here periodically, was our cage guy, one of our cage people. And they would get in $300 bags of half dollars, and I would get to go through them before they go into the machines. So they'd call me and let me know they get... There, we're back. Another matrix zone there, another dead zone. But then I would take the silver dollars that I found and sell them on eBay or wholesale them out. But it was a way, at that point, they're worth about $17, $18 a piece for the dollar that it cost to get them. One time I was in Texas when they got in the shipment of dollars. They dumped them all into the machines. I actually had to go put the money into the machines and cash them out. And there's a bunch of silver in there too. Found out which bank they were buying them from. They actually had to pay a premium on them. I think it was $1.15 per coin to get the dollar coins because they weren't readily available anymore. And ended up buying about $1,500 worth of the silver dollars, or the Eisenhower dollars, and contacted anybody I knew, and we sold them off to them at face value. Talking to a friend of mine from Colorado who had bought probably 1,200 of those dollars over the years from me. He still has them. In the red racks, the plastic racks they had at the casino, I got a bunch of those as well. We're getting deep into Arizona. There might be one more drop off here before we get out into the flat plains, and then we'll take the straightaway trip into Kingman. There's a big a big wind farm to my left. The blinking red lights all in unison. They've been adding more and more solar and wind out here. It's an easy enough trip to drive. Just got to watch the other drivers here. That white car is now behind us. I used to work at a grocery store, had a great silver collection. Oh yeah, especially in a place like Las Vegas. I'll go, and with the alleged coin shortage that's on right now, but I used to go buy $100 boxes of nickels, $25 box of pennies, and the $500 box of quarters, and I think the dimes were $2.50, and would just go through them. And then I didn't have to re-roll them or anything. I could just go dump them into the cage. And to get new coins in the casino, I would clean out a bunch of the machines by playing them. Put a $20 bill into the nickel machine, cash it out. They'd refill it several times, and I would take those bags of coins to another casino to get rid of them, so that the casino that we had would have to order more from the banks. And I'd get a new collection. I put together several full sets of nickels from 1938 to date, including the really scarce ones like the 2009s, impossible to find, the 1982 and 83 Philadelphia nickels, 1971's another tough date, 75 and 76 Philadelphia dated, and then all the stuff back from the 50s and 40s, silver nickels from 1942 to 1945, and including the 1950D, which they only made a little over 2 million of those, and the 39 Denver, which was like 3 million only made. Those are the key dates of the series, and I was able to pull everything out of those slot machines over a long period of time. Ended up with several rolls of the silver nickels. If you put 40 silver nickels in a roll, when they were first made, they have about 2 ounces of silver. So a $2 roll nowadays would be worth about 50 bucks. You can put the paper money in the 50-cent slots, but they're not kicking the coins out. I haven't found a one that actually has coins anymore. And a lot of the money in Vegas, people will go broke gambling. They have to cash in their coin collections or sell them to pawn shops, or the occasional robbery, and stuff ends up in circulation. We had a lot of the street people that would beg come in and cash it into our cage. We were one of the last coin casinos in Vegas, and so all that coinage would come in, and I would actually tell people, instead of taking your money to a Coinstar and losing 9 to 13%, bring it to our cage, we'll cash it in at face value. And then I would buy those bags from the cage and go through them. It was amazing, amazing collectibles. And this is towards the end of the state quarter series, and they came out with the National Park series of quarters and such. But I would find there's some really rare dates in the first Washington quarter series from the clad coinage 1965 on that are really collectible and great, you know, top condition 1982 Philadelphia with a little P mint mark on it, Washington quarter uncirculated. They sell for several hundreds of dollars up to thousands of dollars if they're in top uncirculated condition, because they didn't make any collector sets for the most part. They had some souvenir sets of the mints, but they didn't sell them in large quantities. And the key to that, 1981 through 1984, is the coins going into all the video games, the Donkey Kongs, Defender, Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, all the different games that came out to quarters. Every quarter in America and around the world went into all these video games thousands of times and got scratched up and worn down. Here's a nice old Mustang. 2003, 2004, love those years. During those years, I used to fly up to Denver a lot, and I would go to the Mint, and I'd buy 5 or 6 souvenir sets, 82 and 83. And, you know, several years later, I was able to sell the set. I'd pay $5 a set. You got a penny, nickel, dime, quarter, and a half dollar, and a souvenir token, about $5 or $6, whatever it was. They were selling for $100 and more per set, as everyone was chasing the high quality coins from those years. I had rolls and rolls and rolls of that stuff, and then had kids and had to feed them, so I even cashed mine in several times into the banks. I had tellers at banks that I used to go buy boxes and bags of coins from, that when I get a little short on cash, I would mark the rolls a certain way, and I'd take them in and cash them in so I could pay my bills, and then when I would get paid the next time, I'd go back and buy them back from the teller. And that worked until, of course, the teller quit, or they just would take the coins. In Arizona in 1983, I actually had a little coin shop while I was going to college, and someone came in and said they had found some quarters at a bank nearby that were silver. And so they told me the story. I paid them a pretty good price for the quarters that they had, and on a hunch, I went to the bank and said, "I'd like to buy all your quarters, please." And they just kind of looked at me. I said, and I showed them the roll. It was a different color wrapper. I said, any roll, you know, this orange color that's kind of faded, any roll that you have of those, I want to buy them all. And so I ended up buying about 27 rolls, and most of them were all silver. That was a huge haul. You said you sold most of your coins in 13? That was a good time if you had all the silver. That was a peak period, yep. After 2001 in the fall, silver dropped way down to about $4 an ounce, and I was in Illinois at the time, and there was a coin shop that I'd drive to, got to know the coin dealer pretty well. He didn't have any respect for the silver war nickel, so I'd get them for a quarter a piece, and then I was buying 1 ounce ingots for $4.50 a piece, piled those away, and then I started selling when the silver got back to $30 and $40. Do some of the machines still exist that you put 50-cent pieces in and spit out 50-cent pieces? If they exist, I haven't found them yet. If they exist, I want to play them. Actually, I do know in Wendover, Nevada, they were there. This was, let's see, we left there in 2018. I'm sure they're still there. There's a couple of older casinos there that had the $half-dollar machines. One of them was the Red Garter, and we used to drive from Salt Lake out there all the time. It was a 2-hour trip, and we would go out there in the morning and play and then come back. Occasionally we'd stay there if it was snowing, but they had the $half-dollar machines out there, and that was one I'd go spend a bunch of time. I'd play Sun and Moon, play my Keno, video poker, and then before we left, I'd go cash in a bunch of $half-dollars. And then we'd go back to Salt Lake. Next weekend, I'd bring back the ones I didn't want, do it again. Usually it would pay for the trip. It was a great casino. The machines paid really well. I'd always hit 5 of 5 or 6 of 6 on the Keno. And then my favorite story from the Red Garter was a progressive bank of video poker, double bonus poker. And the progressive would start at $400. You bet 10 coins, nickel. And it got up close to $800 or $900 at one point. It would usually pay $500 or $600. And every machine was taken. And so I would wait and wait. And finally, some guy got up and walked away. I paused a moment to make sure someone else didn't want it. I sat down and put the money in, and within 5 minutes, I hit the progressive. They were cussing at me and yelling at me and mad. Everyone got up and left every other machine. I actually had to get a hand pay. It was less than a taxable amount, but because it was a progressive, I had to sit there for 30 minutes till they gave me my 900 bucks. That was the most fun because, again, everyone got mad at me. Yeah, the other day, hit the 4 threes. That was at the California, all quarter payout. They had to fill the machine. That was fun. Thanks to Intel Wild for the challenge. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone there. Now we'll go back a lot. Used to put the quarters in at 7-Elevens in Vegas. You get some pocket change from your purchase and immediately go over to the machines and put them in. Nowadays, you have to get the bills and put them in. It's not as enticing. I mean, if you got 85 cents and change, you go put 3 quarters into a machine and play it. Now you got to play the Buffalo and it never pays. A little over an hour into the trip, we're getting deep into Arizona now. This is that Texas truck that passed us in the mountains over by Hoover Dam. Typically, this is a much faster trip on this part because you can see forever, but at night you can't, and it's not worth risking animals jumping across the road or vehicles parked in the center median waiting for people driving too fast. The time you would save exceeding the speed limit, you would lose that having to fill out paperwork and provide your license and insurance and registration. There used to be nothing out here, but now with Interstate 11 coming, they've added a bunch of gas stations and convenience stores. When they announced that Interstate 11 was coming through here in the late 80s, early 90s, all of a sudden all this land got bought up, strangely enough, by a lot of officials and politicians. Oddly enough. And then they approved the interstate going through. It's been, 20, 30 years, they still haven't put the interstate through, but they've added, this used to be a 2-lane road back and forth, very dangerous. Please try Buffalo Grand sometimes. It's good, I think. El Cortez has it. I'll give it a shot. I've played most of the Buffaloes. There's a few of them that really suck. There's some that are just brutal. The original Buffalo games when they first came out, the one we had a back-to-back Buffalo at the Clarion, and you would hit $800, $900 jackpots consistently, but they also got played a lot. And you'd hit one machine for $800 or $900, then you go to the other side and play and hit it for $300 or $400. We would clean out the machines that way on Sundays and Mondays typically. It was a third-party casino, so even though it was in the hotel, I could play them because I didn't oversee directly the casino. We just had a profit share thing going on. So after all the tourists would leave, we'd have a general idea which machines had paid out and hadn't. And so we'd play them and play them and play them until we'd hit the big jackpots. And then they'd load them up over the week and into the weekend again. And then come Monday or Sunday, we'd go clean them out again. Buffalo Grand is the only one worth playing. I will give it a shot. I mean, I like most of the Buffaloes. There's the ones that have like 9 different bonus symbols. They never pay because you keep hitting the bonus symbols as blockers. And they got the, you win $2 trillion if you win it, but you have to play $9 to $12 or $15 per spin. And, your payback on that is not that great. So if you're betting $10 and you win $150, that's 15 to 1 payback. If you bet $1 and win $30, that's 30 to 1. It's not as much actual cash, but the percentage payback's a lot easier and better to hit on the different machines. Every once in a while I'll do the big bets like that, especially if I win a jackpot. I love it when I win Keno. When I win the 7 out of 7 on a dollar bet and they pay $7,000, that's when I'll start max crediting on those crazy machines, trying to get lucky again, and usually give a couple thousand back to the casino before I leave. Still end up with $5,000, but then you got the play on your card so you can write it off. 5-cent Buffalo Gold Revolution had a great run over the weeks. Okay, cool. I learned watching a few of the online gamers. So SD guy, I like watching him because he's got some great playing techniques and they work. Either the one-line method or max credits, or like the 10-cent denomination with the limited credits. You can still win the big jackpots. I stuck $1.50 voucher in a Buffalo Grand. Wow. 150 spin at $1,152. Cool. All it takes is one. Some people believe, and I believe it, and I do it, and I got other people doing it, is on the Mega Millions, only bet $21. That's 7 $3 spins on Mega Millions. And don't play the crazy Mega Millions video Wheel of Fortune garbage. SD guy is very entertaining. I'm sure your wife hates him. He's very crude, but he's true to who he is. He is very unique and very honest about who he is. You gotta have a strong will to listen to some of it sometimes, but it's funny as heck. But he has some great playing techniques. I got one video in Arizona, went to the Lone Butte Casino, and there's one of the games that he played, and I tried it, and I ended up hitting like a $300 jackpot on a $5 or $10 play. I will try the Buffalo Grand. I will definitely try it. Looking for a mile marker here. Here we go. Amazing how many people have no idea what this green sign means. Right here on the right. Mile 41. So about 30 more miles to Kingman. When I get there, we'll go through the Kingman choke point, get on to Interstate 40, head east. We'll exit. I may just buy gas there at the choke point since there's no traffic. Got to load up, and it's about a 20-some mile trip for the cutoff into the mountains crossing Arizona. At some point there, it dies for about an hour. There's no way to get signal out in the middle of nowhere. I do have a video on one of the other channels that is the 2.5-hour trip in the mountains of Arizona that you can't get a live signal. And as I leave Phoenix from the north side, I get all the way to Kingman on that video. SD guy's one-line method is good. Yeah, I mean, I hit a $500 and some major jackpot on Lightning Links using it. And then on the Dancing Drums Explosion at Palace Station a couple weeks ago, I started doing it with the 10-cent denom, which is the highest denomination. And I was doing the 88 coins. I guess it was actually down to 8 coins. So 8 coins for 80 cents. Then I went up to $1, whatever it was. And then back down, and I hit something that paid $190 on an 80-cent bet. And it's because it was the maximum denomination, and then I hit, I guess, whatever the symbols were, and by betting the way I did, it was a huge payback. Whereas if I had played the max credits on the penny denomination, wouldn't have won anywhere near that amount. And I did it again at Treasure Island. This time I went up a second level on the bet and ended up winning about $300 on that one. So it does work, but you also get your butt kicked. And if you know the pay symbols and you see them hit over and over again on lines that you didn't bet, then it's like, oh man, I should have bet more lines. But the machine is doing that to you on purpose. It's making you think you need to bet more. They're programmed, not all of them, some of them have the near miss chip or whatever it's called, that they make you wish you'd bet more or different denominations on purpose by putting out those winning symbols in lines that you don't hit. It's programmed to mess with you mentally and emotionally, to make you put more and more money in. The machines are also programmed that when you get down to the end of your $100 bill or $20 bill, Especially at the end of the money when you play your last full credit play and then you have to play a small credit play. Make note of it, how many times that last small credit play hits. You're like, oh crap, I should have bet max credits and put more money in. Well, the machine does that on purpose. It knows the bill you put in. So what I'll do is I'll get down to my last 3 or 4 plays. I'll play the short play 4 or 5 away from the end of the money, and then play out max credits last 4 or 5, because you're eventually going to hit that last jackpot that it does to you to get you to put more money in, and I want to do it at max credits. And more often than not, you'll hit something there, and you know, chance to recover your money that you lost, or get some of it back, or keep playing. Those are all rumors and what are they? Urban legends, but they are true. They do exist. I know for a fact. Allegedly. Excuse me. Allegedly, I know for a fact. I don't know that I can say I know for a fact because I've never programmed a machine. Sure wouldn't want to be sued by anyone, but yes. I appreciate you watching. I'm having fun. I've always wanted to do this, and it doesn't work during the daytime. So here at night, it's actually working. I did this a few times on Facebook, and it seemed to work. A little air conditioning, a little heat. I'm getting dry throat. I'm not anything other than the fact I've been talking for 74 minutes straight. But hey, that's what we do here. 24 people, 24 thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Didn't expect a whole lot of viewers, just a bunch of us night owls and keeping each other company. There's not a lot to see on this part, but you never know. There might be a whitetail jump across, or a javelina, a fox, Gila monster. You never know in Arizona. May come up upon an accident or not, or people driving way too fast. Taking it easy myself. It's gonna be a little bit longer trip, but I want to make it in one piece. Once the sun comes up, about 5:30 in the morning, I'll be able to make the last couple hours. Actually, about an hour away from now, Arizona time. Mountain time here, not Pacific. UFOs, we're definitely looking for them. If you see any, let me know. I've seen stuff in the sky that I can't identify, so they're definitely unidentified flying objects. They may not be extraterrestrial, but they're out here. Well, I appreciate that. I share with you what I have. I don't know everything. I know some stuff. I also know what I don't know. And as much as I played craps my whole life, when I was managing the Hooters casino, I thought it'd be fun one day to deal craps. How hard could it be? Just take your stick and move your dice, or pay it out. Holy crap, was that tough. That was difficult to keep track of 12 players, all the things going on. I lasted about 7 minutes. I was done. I'm out. I knew my place. Let's turn it back over to the professionals. But I wanted to do it to experience it the same way. In the hotel business, I worked in housekeeping and engineering and security and front desk and food and beverage, so I could totally understand all those departments. So as I run a hotel or manage my hotels, a new respect for those departments and what they go through. I was the biggest complainer about housekeeping all the time until I did 2 years of housekeeping at a 1,639 room hotel in Chicago. After that, if you complain about my housekeeping staff, I will defend them like a mama bear. I'd like to bet $5, please. I like bubble craps when I have the game to myself. Oh, I've played that a little bit. I don't know that I like it so much. There's the one that's sounds like a kid's voice and just says stupid stuff all the time. They have one of those at, I think it's the Orleans, and it even annoys me when I'm not playing it. I'm playing other games, so I will actually leave that area. But some of those, the video craps at the Gila River Lone Butte in Arizona, I've played that and hit that a little bit. Nothing major. My biggest craps win ever was a heater. I was on a heater, and it was in 1989, 1988, 1989, 1988 Christmas time, or it was the 1989 springtime. I'm gonna go with 1989 springtime. My parents were paying for my schooling and helping me with my housing in Hawaii, University of Hawaii. And on my way back, I had a flight through Vegas. And I got to Vegas and I jumped the plane. And so I called my mom and I said, hey, I'm not gonna make it back. I missed my flight. Of course, she knew I was full of crap and was not happy. You know, they're paying for my schooling and now I'm in Vegas spending their money. So I went, checked into the Motel 6 there on Tropicana and walked down to the Tropicana and played a little bit of craps and had a little bit of luck. I probably had $100 with me at the time. And by the end of the first day, I was up to about $200 or $300. So I spent the night, got up the next day, came in, ran it up to $600 or $700. So I bought a room at the Tropicana, kept playing. By the end of that night, I was up over $1,500. Just living large, having fun, hitting everything, betting the hard ways. You know, they didn't have the hop back then, but I bet the hard ways, the 6 and 8 in the corner. Didn't do the inside numbers or any of that kind of stuff. Every once in a while, I dropped $50 onto the field and hit it. And, you know, $1,500, $1,600. Got another room at the Tropicana, went upstairs. I'm going to take all this money with me back to Arizona. Rescheduled my flight. I left at 1 o'clock the next day. Had a great meal. Got up the next morning late. On my way down to the taxi, I thought, even though I got my suitcase with me, I should probably play just a little more craps and make just a little more money. Well, of course, that's what Vegas does to you. And I started losing. So every time I'd lose, I'd put a bigger bet out there because I'm going to hit it and I'll get it back because that's what I've been doing for 3 days. Well, all of a sudden, I lose. I'm down to a couple $100. I'm just pissed at myself now. I'm in full tilt mode. I can't believe I just pissed away all that money. So I took half my stake and I put it on the line and I hit it. And I let it ride and I hit that and I let it ride again and I hit that. And I had about $1,200 or $1,300 at that point. Cashed out, jumped in the taxi, flew home to Arizona. And when I got to the airport in Arizona, I went and found an envelope somewhere, put a couple of $100 in it. I knew my mom, she was just so mad at me. I got out, she's waiting for me. I'd called her and told her I was coming in. I get in the car and not even a word, very quiet. I knew she was angry. So I handed her the envelope. She opened it up, looked in there, put it in down in this little side thing, goes, well, how was your trip? She got her cut. I paid her back for the money that I used that I shouldn't have, and then gave her a cut of the winnings, so that was fun. We laugh about that to this day. 3 days in Vegas and she doubled her money. We've been to Vegas as a family several times since then. Spin the buttons, she says, on the bubble. Yeah, oh yeah. We were in Carlsbad, California at one point. I had a bunch of the Canadian money that I hadn't taken to Alaska yet. And she was working for an airline at that point, America West. And we're sitting there and I had a bunch of Canadian pennies and nickels and what have you. And I figured, let's go to Vegas or let's go to State Line. And so she and I drove, I mean, this is way back in the 90s. We drove to State Line to Whiskey Pete's, I think it was, or Buffalo Bill's. And they would take coins there. And so I didn't know if they would take all the Canadian coins. So I threw a bunch of wheat pennies in there, a bunch of regular pennies, and then some silver, the steel pennies from the Warrior 1943. And it's all stuff that I'd bought over the years and found and changed, so I'm into them a penny a piece. Well, I'd paid half face value for the Canadian stuff, and I wanted them to give me the full value up at the State Line there. So it worked like a charm. The lady who was running the coin counter. She dumped my bag of pennies in, and she looked back to see if I noticed, and she started pulling out the steel pennies and the wheat pennies, paying absolutely no attention to the Canadian pennies. And so she ran them through. The next bag she ran through, she probably found all 10 of the steel pennies and a bunch of the wheat pennies, never said a word, paid me out, and thought that she had had a great deal there. Well, I got, you know, my extra 50% on the Canadian stuff, and she made her money, and we were all happy. That was just a trip. You know, let's go drive 3 hours to drop some coins into a casino. Nowadays, they try to charge you a. What is it? The guy just flashed his lights at me. They try to charge you a fee when you drop off the coins at a casino, unless you're a certain level of player. Interesting. Maybe he's got a CB radio and there's a cop up here. He's either being a nice guy to flash his lights at me, or he was pissed that I would pass him and then slow down in front of him. I'm going to go with the police officer. As we get closer and closer to Kingman, there's usually somebody out here. I did have to exceed the speed limit slightly to pass him. Appreciate you guys driving the entire way here with me, as far as we can go. Kind of a rough road. They did fix this side over here, so in the daytime I'll drive this side, but right now at night I may not see like a loose tire or, you know, a retread fall off or anything over here. I don't want to hit it, but I also don't want to go too much faster. Being a low roller, yep. Don't like the link games much. 50 cents of bets can win all the progressive. That's right. Yep. You get the mini, the minor, the major, the grand, and the other ones go up when you bet a higher denomination. But the ones you can actually win, I mean, theoretically, on a 50-cent bet, you could win the super grand, the mega grand, whatever it is. Theoretically. But like when you watch the Huff and Puff as an example, or some of the piggy banking games, when you get to that point where you get the coins, or you get the the 6 pigs together, and you get the bigger thing that's going to open up and show you your prizes, it'll only show you the minor opportunity, or it'll show you the minor and major opportunity only. You'll never see the grand, you'll never see the bigger coins. And so that's where you got to look at the denomination as well. So I'll do the 10-cent denomination on the lightning links with the 25 coins. So I'm betting 250, which I'm betting anyway on a sun and moon or something like that. I mean, 250 on a Keno machine is less than the $4 I play, but you have a better chance of winning on the lightning link. So I'll do that and get a chance to win something nice. Many times you lose all your money, you're like, no, it sucks. I've seen people win on the 50 cents. I've seen a lot of people win on those 30 cent and 40 cent and 60 cent bets on Buffalo. And I don't have the patience for that, I don't think. I've tried it on the sun and moon. I've tried it on the Buffalo. If I just want to play, I'll do that, and then you hit a little bit of a jackpot. But if you're trying to make some money, max credits is the only way to go. Baldy, have a great night. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you hanging out. Getting closer to Kingman. There is a mountain pass we'll have to go over. We'll probably lose signal briefly on that as well. It's a 3,737 foot elevation we have to go over. Coyote Pass. Then we head down into Kingman, where the speed limit drops all the way down to like 35. It's another place where they make their money on all the tickets they write there. Small bets do nothing for me anymore online. Oh, anymore either, yeah. The truck's trying to go around me. 'Cause I've been erratic in my speeds here. Or he's pulled over because of the bumps. might have jet fuel in there. He doesn't want to be bumping around. I'll excel ever so slightly to keep him from passing me. If I'm doing recreational gaming, I don't mind 15 cents on a 3-reel nickel slot. That's fun. Play for hours on a $20 bill. I've played Keno. I love the penny Keno machines where it's 4 cents a card. Because that's where I'll play the 10 of 10, 9 of 9, 8 of 8, and all that. You can still walk away with $400 or $500, $700 to hit the right machine. It doesn't cost you that much. It's just a lot of fun to play. So away from Huff and Puff and piggy banking, or stay away, yeah. Stay or say, yeah. No, the Huff and Puff, it's because it's cute and fun. Another theory I have, and I can't prove it, but maybe you can, is the louder the machine is, the more action there is, the more you win this, you hit that. You play along, you get a line hit, and then you hit a 20-minute bonus. Because you got to do all these things and push the buttons and make all these decisions, the less you're going to win. If you're playing a $25 spin like NG or BC slots or whatever, you're going to hit a hand pay every time you hit a jackpot because, 20 times your $25, you hit $1,000 or $500 right away. Get multiple spins, 40 times your 20 is $1,000. Then they get the coin or whatever it might be. So they get hand pays all the time. But you have to bet big to win big. If you're just a 50 cent, 75 cent Huff and Puff player, you're wasting your time. Unless you like watching the game. It's like paying to watch a movie or a TV show. Nothing pisses me off more than the music they play and the coin shower, and it rings it up to a $9 jackpot. Because you're betting 30 cents or whatever, and that's a huge percentage win. But they should just give you the $9, not start kicking all these coins up and mega win, super jackpot, incredible, and they get $9. You are the real Mike Jones? John Jones says, I am the real Mike Jones. Janice, how you doing? Oh, definitely being careful, driving super slow tonight. It's pissing the driver off behind me. But we're getting closer and closer to Kingman. Still about 3.5 hours to go on my trip tonight. There's a place in the Joshua Tree National Forest that I will pull over and close my eyes for 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes it turns into 30. It's a safe zone to pull over. Lots of truckers do it. Yep, we're going to drive home, get in this morning, take the wife out shopping, go get some coffee, maybe some donuts, whatever she'll let me enjoy. Then go take a nap. And she works this afternoon. That's when I'm going to sneak out and do the drive around Scottsdale and may or may not end up at Casino, Arizona. Check out Tempe and what's going on with the, may see some of the protests at Arizona State. May not. A lot of Christmas lights in Arizona, a lot of displays. I try to see those. We did that a lot last year on the channel when I first started. We'd go drive around and check out the Christmas lights around Phoenix. Go to some of the multi-million neighborhoods, check it out. You want to write a book about slots? The easiest way to do that is to just start writing it. Write your personal experiences. It's amazing. There's some guy who has a video, it's been out 11 years now with like 26 million views. He's a slot tech and he just kind of talks about how slot machines works. 25 million views. I'm sure he's made great money just on that one video his entire life. The idea behind Keno University videos that we put out is that, here's some education, here's some things, here's some stuff to think about. And I was hoping that one of them would catch on and it would have 25 million views. But yeah, the downtown lights are definitely beautiful. Tried to find those ones in Summerlin the other day, could never find them. All right, we're getting ready to go up a mountain pass here. There's a real good chance we're going to lose signal. It says Kingman in 5 miles. Yeah, Old Town is so beautiful. We're gonna definitely be going through there tonight. Tonight being Saturday night. Don't know that I'll be walking. I'll probably do some driving. End up wherever we end up. Love Arizona. Big fan. Just something about it. It's pretty steep here. They had a third lane for the trucks that go really slow and cars that go really slow. Quick up and over. We just passed the turnoff to Laughlin. If we had gone down that other road, we could have come back that way. The sun is starting to come up. Hope you get to see it today. Oh wow, way back east. Is it cold and windy and rainy there? Is that why? Or snowy? Here's the peak of the pass at 3737, 3700, 65 down the hill here. And then it's 55, 45, and 35 almost immediately. No snow yet, but very gray looking. Okay. I hit a 6 out of 7 on your 6 or 7 spot the other day. Hit the 6, the 26, the 17, the 8, the 18, and the 28, but not the 16. Yeah, I'm gonna hit a 10 spot. I appreciate that. I like playing different patterns. They're fun. You got to try something different. I hit the 5 out of 5 down at El Cortez on a full 4-quarter bet the other day. After our live, we had a live that kind of went sour, so I shut it off. I kept playing. I hit an $850 jackpot on that. Then I hit a 350, I think it was, over at the Treasure Island and a bunch of stuff like that. That was fun. That was my first time I just started betting the dollars and actually hit something in Vegas. Mostly the nickel hits. Slowing down. We're down to 35 here. I'm still speeding right now. A lot of people don't trust these speed limits here, and they keep going like that guy. But the police are here to write tickets. Sometimes I'll buy gas at this intersection. Sometimes I'll pull off on the other side at the Flying J. Please go to the plaza and play 6s. They hit all the time. Yeah, well, I love the plaza. Although my favorite, not my favorite, there's a cop right over there. Hello, Mr. Officer, how you doing? The first ever hand pay I ever got in Vegas was at the Plaza Hotel. It was on some strange nickel, I didn't even know it was a nickel machine. It was late at night. I'd probably been working all week and playing all night and just kind of groggy. And I slid a $100 bill in the machine as the last bill I had. And I thought I was betting $1 at a time. So I was betting 100 credits, and I thought it was $1. I thought it was a penny machine. Turns out I was betting $5. Well, third or fourth push, I hit a $2,000 jackpot. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't have any idea how the hand pay stuff worked at that point. And the guy comes over, can I see your ID? Do you have your social security card? So I did all that. And he comes and hands me $2,000 in cash. And I asked him, I said, what did I hit? And he goes, see how you have the multiplier, multiplier, multiplier. And he explained to me how the different lines work. Because you think it's a straight line and a crooked line. He goes, this one has multiple odd shaped lines in it for whatever reason, is the way it was made. And this multiplier over here that you don't think hit actually hit. And you're betting $5. And I go, $5? Holy crap. And so I took my $2,000 and I gave him a $100 tip and left. And that was the greatest first ever hand pay ever. Then of course I went back to try to do it again, never could duplicate. They also had the old double and triple bar sevens machines. And I hit a 777, 777, 777, all different colors. That was a pretty good one on a dollar play, paid $1,500. Now it was at the Plaza. I also did it on the quarters, paid $400 and some. Heading up to the Interstate 40 eastbound. All the truckers out tonight. All those shelves that are empty, these guys are bringing you stuff. So as much as they annoy me on the road sometimes, I got to give them the respect that they deserve for what they're doing for our country. It's not their fault that a certain state doesn't allow them into their state for whatever environmental reasons they have. truckers are not allowed into California if their trucks are older than 11 years old or something like that. I don't know the exact date on that. How many hand pays have I gotten? All I know is that in 2012, I paid a boatload of taxes on my winnings. I hit several 7 out of 7s. You know, I can't even count the 6 out of 6 and 5 out of 5s that year. Hit multiple slot progressive jackpots. Just, that was my year. 2012, multiple digit thousands of dollars in taxes I had to pay that year. But I also, that was a year I was a chairman level with the stations casinos and super platinum with others and diamond level with others. I kept hitting it and kept hitting it for whatever reason. 2012 was my year. I've told the story more, but I even went to China that year for a week on a hotel investment tour, and on the way back flew all night through Korea, flew back into Vegas, go through customs as whatever time it was, probably early in the daytime. Dropped my bags off, got in the car, and I went to the Silver Sevens, and they had this progressive machine. And I was playing, it was $1.80 max credits, and I go into the bonus round, and I kept re-triggering it, and I hit every one of the progressives except for the third level. So I got the mini, the minor, not the major, but then I got grand, and so I cashed out $5,000 or $6,000. I think I got a cop behind me right now, so stand by. Let's see if he pulls off here. I'm gonna go to the next one. Yep. Oh no, he's pulling off. It's not a cop. Not that I'm doing anything wrong. Sometimes they wonder why you have a camera going. I have both hands on the wheel. I'm 10ing and 2ing it. I'm paying attention. I'm only reading the chats as I can. Being a good citizen here tonight. But then ever since that 2012 year, it's been rough. Not a whole lot of hand pays. But I also learned on the nickel Keno, if you bet 3 coins instead of 4 on the 7 out of 7, you win $1,050, and you don't have to get the W2G. And if your current tax rate is what mine was, you actually win more by not having to pay on the W2G on a 3 coin 7 out of 7 than if you hit the 4 coin, because the 4 coin pays $1,400 and you pay 20 to 30% tax on that. And so I would start adjusting my bets according to the W2G. I don't want to get that gaming tax form. However, at the end of the year, when you pull up your win-loss records for your tax purposes, it's all on there anyway. Pulling off here, this is the Andy Devine Road. We're going to pull into a Flying J, I think it is over here. Going to fill up with gas. Going to run in. You guys are welcome to hang out for a brief moment while I do all that. Going to use their facility, refresh, and then we'll keep on going as far as we can until the internet dies. Many times I'll stop in here and use the internet at the McDonald's, the free internet. Not going to do the fountain soda. I'm going to do the bottle of spring water, or the bubbly water. Still doing pretty good on my diet. Don't want to blow it. Got a bunch of Honey Nut Cheerios. All 25 chilling in the car. Cool. Be good. Don't adjust the radio, and don't hit your sister, and don't touch your brother. If you have to fart, open the window. I have 2 poker with 2G hand, 2,000 hand pays in crypto earnings this year. Wow, taxes galore, yeah. Well, the crypto earnings, yeah. It's supposed to be non-registered money that the government can't control. It sure seems like they're pretty involved in crypto now. Much like the internet was developed for free communication for everyone to have access, and not so much anymore. That's the way of the world. Those are the rules, and we just have to learn to play by them. Flying J, $3.42, about 40 cents cheaper than I paid in Las Vegas. It'll be about 20 cents cheaper than Phoenix. If you get a chance, take a break, use the restroom, go get a snack. This is that opportunity. Give me a few minutes here as I do my thing, make sure I got my car key. I always hate when I do this. I don't know why I do this. Where did I put it? Oh, top pocket right where it's supposed to be. All right, I'll be right back. Enjoy. Don't go nowhere. See you in a moment. And we're back. Wow, we got more viewers now than before. Awesome, welcome. Didn't have anything I wanted to drink in there, so I'm gonna enjoy my plain bottle of Nestle's Pure Life water the rest of the trip. Plus, I don't need to hydrate so much in the middle of the night here. If you're just joining us, we're driving from Las Vegas to Phoenix. We're gonna keep you on as long as the signal holds here. At some point, we'll lose the signal in the mountains. But what the heck, let's have some fun here. If you wanna do a quick hashtag, let me know who's here with your hometown. Anthony, yeah, we had to drive over the Hoover Dam area on our way to Phoenix. What's in Phoenix is my main place of living. My wife, Casino, Arizona. Birds on a Pond, protein burgers at In-N-Out Burger, Dutch Brothers Coffee, that kind of stuff. Yeah. No, we still live in Scottsdale and live in Vegas. So I'm dual citizen right now as we're opening the new hotel, and go back every week. I'm gonna fly actually to California next Saturday and pick up my car that's down there. Tim, how you doing? It's morning for Tim. I'm going to pick up my 2001 Lincoln Town car next Saturday and make the journey back to Vegas in it, hoping it makes it the whole way. The plan is, if for some reason it breaks down, I'm just going to sign the slip, leave it in the glove box, and hitchhike the rest of the way back. If it makes it, then we'll do the air intake repair, and I'll be driving my my hoopty. My 2001 Lincoln Town car up in Vegas. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I get to give my wife back her minivan thing, SUV, the Kia. So I have to go back each weekend right now until I do that to make sure she has food and beverage and get out and do all the things she needs to do. It's not as hot as it was over the summer, so it's not as imperative, but you know, I'm trying to be a good guy. Massachusetts is cold and rainy. How is it in West Virginia? We're probably about 25 or 30 miles until we lose full signal here, but stay with us. Oh, it's not a pain. I enjoy the drive. I really enjoy the drive. I'd rather drive than fly. I almost drove to Texas for our Thanksgiving. It was 18 hours in holiday traffic, so I ended up not doing it. Yeah, SD guy drives the Kia. Cool. Midlothian, Texas. Very cool. I've driven the Vegas to College Station trip many times. Vegas to Austin, and then that last hour and a half or 2 hours into College Station was always difficult, much like flying. You get to Dallas or Houston, and they cancel all those little flights. So getting to College Station, even though it's an awesome place to live, was hard to get there. And then I could never plan a trip over football weekends. Alamogordo, New Mexico. If I had to pick New Mexico where I'd want to live, there's a northeast of Albuquerque as you go up in the mountains there. I don't know the name of the town. Or Socorro, it's not Socorro, Socorro, New Mexico. I've been there. And then, of course, Las Cruces is dynamite. Lordsburg is where I would usually stop for gas driving towards El Paso from Phoenix. Deming. I got stopped one time by Border Patrol between Hatch and Deming. This was back in like 2004. There's still a whole lot of concern about what had happened in 2001. And since I had taken a side road, there was a whole big traffic stop out in the wilderness out there. Fortunately, they waved me right on through. This is Interstate 40 eastbound out of Kingman towards Flagstaff. Albuquerque, yeah, Santa Fe is real nice too. Very expensive. Don't like the mountain driving, especially at night. I have a fear of driving off a cliff. Anthony, you're so right. Happen to have a story about that. Was leaving Tahoe towards San Francisco in 1988. Worked in Carlsbad a couple of months in the late 90s. Oh, cool. Carlsbad's a neat area. And as we're leaving Tahoe, we had to get to the San Francisco airport. I was taking a baseball team. We'd been in a tournament in Tahoe and had to get the players to the airport for their flight. So I volunteered to do the overnight trip. And so I probably had 9 guys in this 15-passenger van with their luggage. We're driving through the mountains, and they're doing things, doing things that ball players would do, and probably consuming stuff that I didn't check, but possibly could have been alcohol. And as we're driving through the mountains, we blew a left front tire. I got to keep trying to remember stuff. As you get older, you forget things. But we blew a left front tire, and I'd driven so much in my life that I kind of knew you have to go straight, but we're on a curve. We're trying to turn to the right, and I have to go straight, but there's this outcropping. So somehow I stopped the car, and we're in the middle of the mountains, absolutely nowhere, no cell phones, none of that stuff back in '88. And I just told the guys, I said, you got to ditch anything you have, because coming along will be a trooper or somebody at some point, and we're gonna need help here. And so they're you suck. So they basically finished everything they had. They're all goofing off and doing all the things they could do. I didn't have a spare tire. We had borrowed the vans from another team. And eventually we saw some lights coming up the mountain. We heard the rumble of the vehicle, and some old guy in a truck pulls up. He goes, "You boys need some help?" I'm like, "Yeah, we don't have a tire. We don't have whatever." He goes, "I bet you do have a tire." I said, "Where would that be?" And he says, "It's under your van, hidden up in the thing." Okay, cool. So we go back there, and sure enough, there's a tire hidden back there. So he pulls out a jack, he fixes the tire for us, and I said, "What do I owe you?" He goes, "Oh, nothing. I just happened to be driving by." I'm like, really? In the middle of the night, in the mountains, and absolutely nowhere, you just happen to be driving by. He goes, "Yep." So off he goes. We jump back in the car, and I barely made it to the airport in time for them to make their flights. It was one of those, if it had been any other turn, I would have gone off a cliff, or it had been, driving any faster in a different location. So I always look at those things and wonder, apparently that wasn't my time, but the fear was that it was someone else's time that was in the van. One of the comedians I used to work with, he had a joke. He goes, I don't really have a fear of flying. It's my fear that someone else has a fear of flying. Because anytime I get on an airplane, I look around to see who has that doomed look on their face. And if you see them, I get off the plane real quick. Drive by myself, I don't really mind. If I get tired, I pull over. That was very scary, but not. I mean, I had on that trip, I know for sure 3 of the guys went on to major leagues. One guy was a multi-year all-star, played for the Seattle Mariners. That's all I will say. A couple of the other guys went on and played several years. One was a pitcher for St. Louis. The other guy, I believe, played for the Mets for a couple of years, but not very long. And then a few of the other guys never made it, and a few more in the minor leagues. But the other thing that I thought about that time is, in that van, that specific trip, looking back on it, one of the gentlemen who was a legacy ball player, his father and grandfather had played in the major leagues, his earnings over his lifetime was well over $150 million, that had there been an accident there, that entire career, that entire life would have ended. And so I had, and I didn't know at the time, I had probably $200 million worth of salary in my van at that time. That's back in the 80s and 90s dollars. I was lucky growing up in Alaska with the Alaska Baseball League. Players like Dave Winfield, Jason Giambi, Barry Bonds, all those guys played up there. And at some point, I rubbed shoulders. I was a broadcaster, the PA announcer, concessions guy. Didn't hurt that worked for my father, who was the general manager of the team, and actually started the Alaska Baseball League. Mark McGuire and Randy Johnson and Mike Piazza, and everybody played up there. And so for the number of years from the 80s into the 90s, all those future major leaguers, everyone, the Harold Reynolds, the Alvin Davises, the Kevin McReynolds, you name it, all played up there. And so for a number of years, watching baseball, these are all guys that I knew and had been in my van at some point. Yeah, today's baseball game is a lot different than it used to be, just like football. I mean, whatever they're playing now, it's neat, but it's not what it was, and that's fine. Everything changes, but so did I. I don't particularly watch football anymore. There's a few. I love the Broncos. I'll watch the Cardinals or listen to them. The Bears, of course, spending time in Chicago. Now and again, the Seahawks, depending who they're playing. I guess it depends who the matchup is. I'll pick, favorite teams. When I had my baseball card shop and was really into sports cards and memorabilia, then of course my favorite teams were the ones that had the most valuable players out of the card packs I'd pull. So the Emmitt Smiths, the Brett Favres, all those guys. Made hundreds and hundreds of dollars. 75 is the speed limit. I'm just 76-ish. You cut off to head. I can keep you on that trip for probably 5 or 2 miles. And then not until we get to Wickenburg do we pick up the internet again. That'll go for a little while till we get to the mountains of the Carefree Highway. Once I exit the Carefree onto Interstate South, that's when it will pick up again. We did that live a few weeks back. But by then I'll be groggy and tired and grumpy, and I probably won't be live then. But tonight, Saturday night, join us. We'll be live in Scottsdale, live in Tempe, maybe even Phoenix. Oh yeah, I've been to the East Coast. Been to North Carolina, in Wilmington, Cape Fear, Raleigh, Durham, all those areas. Been to Virginia, Maryland, Ocean City, Maryland. Worked in D.C. for 3 summers as a ute. One whole summer for Senator Murkowski's current Murkowski's father, Frank Murkowski. Also went there a couple different times doing other things. I was there 1 year. Patrick Ewing and Amy Carter were interns the same time I was back in the 80s. And then been to New York. I did a 3-month gig at the JFK Radisson Hotel. Never been to Boston, anything past New York. Did a quick trip around the country into Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, all that back several years ago. I would love to go to New England at some point, just have never been there. You're in North Carolina? Yeah. I've been to every state in the country except for everything east and north of New York and North Dakota. Almost made it to North Dakota one time, got real close. For whatever reason, never quite made it, but I've been to every other state except for those. Been to Hawaii, China, Korea, Mexico, Haiti, Canada. Been blessed in my life to get all this travel for whatever reason. A lot of it was business trips, other stuff was just personal stuff. I've been sponsored on a lot of things for, good grades in high school, and I won a trip to Washington, D.C. And the next year, got hired on to be a summer intern in D.C. Atlantic City, I've never been there to game. I don't believe I've ever been there. I've driven through Jersey, back and forth to New York, West Virginia, drove through West Virginia, Tennessee, worked in Nashville. Was temporary GM of the Doubletree Nashville Airport. And then with the San Diego Chicken, traveled with him for a year. The mascot, we went to all the different sporting events, was all over the country. Baltimore, Memphis, I remember going there, Birmingham, Alabama, a lot of great towns. Anywhere there's like minor league hockey or baseball, Augusta, Georgia, great times. And then I had kids and had to feed them. So I had to get a real job, got in the hotel business. It's amazing how when you have kids, they want food and clothing and schooling and all that. Starting to head lower elevation. We go down and up several times on this next portion of the trip. If you watch the other video, I'll put the link into our community page It's on one of my other channels, and I keep forgetting the name. It's like Phoenix, Nevada Travel and whatever channel. But it's a 2-hour, almost 2.5-hour trip through the mountains of Arizona. Augusta, we were there right before the tournament. Went to the Augusta Yellow Jackets minor league baseball right as minor league season was beginning. They actually had dirt floor showers. That's how bad. It was like an old country park, like a country fair park. It's a lot better now, but this is back in the early 90s. Minor league baseball really hadn't taken off yet. Not a lot of investment into it. A bunch of real dumps along the way, some great ballparks, some really nice stadiums. It was amazing the difference depending on the level, A ball, AA, AAA. I enjoyed my time working with the chicken, not necessarily the chicken himself. After he passes away at some point here in the near future, I will write my book or my memoirs of the time with that guy. Needless to say, we haven't traded Christmas cards in a number of years. You been to a Yellow Jackets game? Cool. My favorite ballpark in the history of the world was in Beatrice, Nebraska. Amateur baseball, summer league. Team from Alaska, we were playing the Beatrice Bruins. And there was no seats at their stadium. And about 5 minutes before the game, I got the radio equipment up, ready to go. This is back when we did it all over the telephone lines. And the ground started to rumble as everybody started showing up with their tractors and hay trailers and all that stuff. And they all just pulled up to the side of the field. It was very cool. The left fielder, you couldn't see him because the ground curved down towards a stream bed. And so the left fielder could barely see over the earth to where home plate was. So there'd be a fly ball to left field, and you just had to wait until an umpire ran out there to see if the guy actually caught it or not, because you couldn't see it from the press box or from the grandstands area. They had little Dixie cups of soda in their concession stand. They were $1 each, and I used to consume tons of soda. So I'd go down there and buy $5 at a time of soda just so I could get one beverage. They weren't used to me in Beatrice, Nebraska. They had just gotten a McDonald's there. And I remember seeing the TV commercial on national TV about McDonald's expanding and, over 1 billion served and all that. They go, and we even got one in Beatrice, Nebraska. And I ended up going there. We actually went to the McDonald's because of that TV commercial. So at some point here, this broadcast will die. I will keep you with me until then. Appreciate y'all hanging out. I don't know how much longer we'll have, because at night we've actually had a lot more signal than I expected. This is really dark. It's a 4-lane road. There's 2 lanes going south, 2 lanes going north. It's a divided highway here. At some point up here, it turns into a 2-lane back and forth. You're connected. It opens up a few times back and forth until we hit the town of Wickiup, which is about 40 miles from here. From Wickiup, you go up into the mountains and down into valleys. You can't get any signal at all there. Then after that, we end up on the other side. Scherzer, 130 million. That's unbelievable for 3 years. Wow. How old are you, brother? No disrespect, just adjusting my plans. I'm in my late 50s now, which I feel like I'm 23. Sometimes I feel like I'm 90 when my AFib kicks in. But I've had a blessed life. I've been able to do things that I thought everyone did. And in talking to people, I feel bad sometimes because I've worked for senators, I've met presidents, I've traveled the world, I've done things, I've been invited to foreign countries for no other reason than I just have been in the right place at the right time with the right people. And I've just been blessed by that. And so I've tried to instill that worldly view into my children, the people I know, and share my knowledge with anyone I can. But that's also why on this channel, we embrace diversity. I love the fact that you're from a different place and you have a different upbringing. Everything that you know and everything that you've done is so different than me. You never washed your clothes in a trash can in your shower in your cabin in Alaska, wrung them out by hand, hung them on a line out in your backyard at 40 below zero, waited till they froze, hit it with a baseball bat, the ice would fall off, and then you bring your shirt in to do the finish dry inside your house. I did that. That's how I did my laundry back several years ago because it was so cold. No, I've never been on that island. Never. I've never been that kind of a guy. I was actually going to go into politics till I realized what a lifestyle that was, and I couldn't lie that much. I couldn't be that two-faced. I couldn't remember all the things that I'd have to lie and do and say to be successful in politics. Allegedly. No offense to politicians. There's plenty of good ones out there somewhere, I'm sure. I sat with Jack Kemp waiting for Reagan to come back from Europe one time. We talked football, Buffalo Bills. First President Bush, when he was vice president, we hung out in his office one time. Yep. Everyone's blessings are different. Everyone has different experiences. I've never been a coal miner. I know people that are. I've never been a longshoreman. I know people that are. I've never been a steel worker, a pipe fitter. I know people that are. I know people that have been very successful in the movies and people that have failed miserably. I've never had that privilege. So it's great to expand your world. And I mean, we used to read books and tell stories, and now everything's, internet or whatever, but it's amazing when you meet people and you actually chat with them and learn what they're all about. 155 miles to Phoenix. Next service is 27 miles. That must be Wiki Up. This road goes really fast. I was the cool... it's bouncing, I can't read. I was the cool... I can't... Oh, you were the coal miner, that's right. Tim was. Yep. Exactly. I remember the first time we started chatting on YouTube here. West Virginia. Really nothing out here. This is semi-flat, a little up and down here. They've added some new roadway out, and this is State Route or US 93 north-south. Kind of runs diagonal from Phoenix towards Kingman. If you break down out here, you're at the mercy of whoever goes past you. It's 42 degrees now, cooling way down. It'll be probably close to freezing when we get up in the mountains. They do get snow in Arizona. They do get the cold weather, bad weather. Extraordinarily bad weather in the summertime with the lightning and thunderstorms. I have a video where I got stuck in a lightning storm and heavy rain. I was on my way to get my daughter at the Sky Harbor Airport. I'd come down from Vegas. We ended up sitting at a Circle K undercover for the hail and the lightning. Eventually it hit the transformer in the area you're at, and the power all got knocked out, and tried to drive and didn't want to go through the flooded streets, so turned around and eventually made it to the airport. That was a heck of a time. That was in July, I think. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Currently, their last I saw, we're at 2,420 subscribers. Just unbelievable growth, and really appreciate everyone. Coming up on 100,000 hours of viewing on the channel in about 14 months. 100,000 hours of viewing. Everything from the crazy music videos to the Keno games and slots, travel, cooking. All of a sudden, the how to make a ham and cheese sandwich video is getting a lot of views. Almost 10,000 views of the fire alarm test. The fight at the casino from February, combined between the full video and the partial video, almost 100,000 views. Some videos get 200 or 300 views and never be seen again. Others get thousands. It's outstanding. Oh, the desert monsoons are the best. Trees get blown over. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. We used to drive to South Mountain in Phoenix and watch the storms from above. And just the lightning storms. They blow through, rain for 30 minutes, move out. 30 minutes later, all the moisture's gone. It's evaporated. Seen my vlog in Vegas, but now I get to know you. Thanks, man. Oh, cool. Yeah, no problem, Jose. I love doing this. A lot of what I do, I'd be doing anyway. Might as well turn the camera on and enjoy it. Had a lot of supporters along the way. That's why I like to support other YouTube channels. And anytime you're on the show here or the YouTube lives, if you have a channel, drop your link and let people know. A couple friends of mine moved to rural Arizona. Oh, cool. Very cool. Some great places. There's some dusty places. There's still some cheap land in Arizona that eventually will become solar farms or hydro farms or moisture farms like on Tatooine. slow it down a bit, coming down a mountain here, and I see some, oh, that's not a cop. This is when I start getting a little blurry-eyed, and I know it's time to pull over when I start seeing animals running next to me on the road, or creatures in the sky, or UFOs, things like that. It's time to pull over and nap a little bit. I'm good for right now. I got a couple hours sleep before I jumped in the car. We've been going now for 135 minutes on this live stream. That includes the time we buffered. Put some gas in there at the Circle K. Yep, I got my water going. Got my drink on. Got some snacks. I got some Honey Nut Cheerios, heart-healthy snack. What is hydro farming? It's basically like moisture farming, where you create, let me see if I can best explain it. So in the way I would do it is, if I was ever stranded on the ocean and I had some plastic or Visqueen, I would create a situation where the humidity clings to the plastic and then drains into a cup or something. So during the daytime when it's hot, the water evaporates, and then you would capture it in your umbrella-shaped plastic. Then in the evening when it cools down, the water, the moisture, the whatever that humidity is, then condenses and turns into actual liquid water, and you can capture it that way. So that's kind of a moisture farm situation. There's places in Arizona with different aquifers, and there's others that are just deserty, dry, miserable. But you can still, if you see cactus there or different plant life, depending on what it is, there's obviously moisture there at some point. So if you got the right equipment, and if you have any kind of cooling equipment, you can convert the moisture in the air to water. There's not a lot of moisture in the summertime in Arizona, but if it's up to 25% humidity, you could probably farm some moisture that way. That's my theory. I'm not a scientist, but I pretend to be some every once in a while. The other kind of water farming you can do is taking salt water and purify it, which I can't believe in this world, all the things that we've done, we haven't figured out how to do that just to make everything awesome. Wet the back of your neck. Yeah, that'll keep you cool, definitely. I love the Vacation movie when Chevy Chase is walking through the desert and he starts getting desert crazy. Been there, done that. Start getting that heat stroke. Scary stuff. Super scary. 41 degrees, getting colder. This sign says 146 miles to Phoenix, 19 to Wickiup. And then I believe it's 75 miles from Wickiup to Wickenburg. Wickenburg, an old west town, started in the 1800s. Merv Griffin used to have a dude ranch there. I never asked if that meant he was raising dudes or that's where dudes went to ranch. I have no idea. Here's where the road combines from a 4-lane down to a 2-lane out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And so if you're tired driving or impaired in any way, this is a very scary part of the trip. Even in the daytime, this road gets shut down a lot with head-on collisions as people try to pass truckers and people that are going slow, but they drive into oncoming traffic. I've even filmed it many times on my journeys back and forth in bright daylight. Just crazy people because they don't want to slow down. But if you're going up a mountainside, you got this slow truck in front of you, it can be very frustrating, but not worth giving your life up for. I have a feeling we're going to lose signal here momentarily, so again, thank you. I'm going to stay with you as long as I can. I want to thank you all for being here. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Smash that like button. I won't be able to read anything right now because I don't want to. Well, okay, now I can. There's no cars coming. Let me see what I got there. Somewhere in California, they turn sewage into drinking water. Yes, reclamation. You ever do stand-up comedy? Oh yeah, yeah. You didn't ask if I ever did good stand-up comedy, but I used to do stand-up a lot, just for fun. I made some money at it for a while. Never going to be Leslie Nielsen or Rodney Dangerfield or anybody like that. I enjoy my humor. It's a way I cope with a lot of stress in life. I use it for training of my staff. and try to defuse situations and disarm anger. But sometimes it really pisses people off too. They just don't get it. It's the inappropriate time for a joke when I'm so mad at you. Okay, well, keep being mad. When you're done, let me know so I can give you the punchline. Sometimes I get in trouble for being a quote-unquote smartass when I'd be working in hotels. You know, other than killing your dog and losing your grandma, how was your stay? That kind of stuff. Today you heard that ghosts hate salt water. I did not know that. Next time I see a ghost, I'm going to ask. That's a great question. Ghosts hate salt water. I'm sure there's a reason for that. No passing zones, truckers coming the other way. This is where I have trouble seeing at night when you have cars like this coming at me, and there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver in these thin bridges. Eventually this will be Interstate 11. I mean, they got a lot of work to do for that to happen. And now after that, thin there, we're gonna break open again and have 4-lane roads. They just haven't finished building the highway yet. There's some areas here where there's like a 5 or 6 mile stretch that after everyone's been backed up for a long time, when they open it up, everyone drives 100 miles an hour, 95 to 100 miles an hour to pass everyone. The problem is everybody's driving 95 to 100 miles an hour and nobody passes anyone. Ever heard of enzyme? I've heard of enzymes, yes. Molecules, enzymes. Are you talking about like the ones that chew up pollution, or the... I've heard of hormones, yes. There's actually an old joke about that. How fast am I going right now? I'm going 65 miles per hour right on the dot as soon as I slow down to it. I'm watching the chat, not my speed. There's an old scientist joke. One scientist asked the other at a convention in Vegas, do you know how to make a hormone? And the other guy says, yeah, don't pay her. But those are the kind of jokes we don't do on this channel. That's all right. Exactly. It's all good. Have you ever heard of hormone? Yes. No, I have not. It's all right. Good effort. I like it. Bring it back on another chat, and I will act like I don't know what you're talking about. As soon as I see the enzyme question, I will play along. Those that aren't on this one tonight won't have any idea that was a setup. Is that a deal? I have no problem doing that. Same way that coming soon towards the playoffs for the NFL, I told this to another live one time, and I'll tell you guys and gals, if that's appropriate to say guys and gals, I'm going to buy every game in the NFL schedule for both teams to win, individual tickets for both teams to win. Then after the games are over, I'm going to do a video on how I picked 100% of the games by pulling out the winning tickets and not pulling out the losing tickets. And everyone else that knows about it will be in on the joke, because I just want to see all the chats and comments that come back like, no way, man, you're, what a guru, and that kind of stuff, where people call me a liar or whatever it's going to be. I think that'll be fun. I have a few sun hydrogen sticks and don't even know what they do. I don't either. There's so much energy in nature. Everything from the lighting up a light bulb with a potato, as a kid in science class. I'm very big on hydrology, streamology. I don't know if that's a word, but I love waterways. I love hydrology. I used to build in my house or in my backyard in Alaska. I would build earthscapes and then run a hose on it to watch how streams were created and cut banks and erosion and all that. That was so much fun. Sun is coming out soon. It will energize you back. Yes. I get dreary in Vegas now because the sun goes down at 4:30 when it used to go down at 9 o'clock just a few months ago. I miss that. I like the the late night sunshine. That's why a lot of things in Vegas don't start till 10 o'clock. The karaoke next to the English Hotel, when I was leaving at 2 a.m. was in full form. Earlier in the night, 10 o'clock, we walked by, hadn't even started yet. This is amazing, I think, because there's no sun rays interfering. We're keeping this signal for a long time here. I'm amazed by this. If you see any animals, let me know. One time I was driving Phoenix to San Diego, and we did the Maricopa cutoff, and someone had hit a javelina. Basically, a javelina is a pissed off pig with snouts that have sharp razor edged tusks, and it had a bunch of babies with it, and the mama or papa, whichever one it was, they had crushed the back end of the javelina, so it only had use of the front legs and its head. And so I pulled over. I was going to help that animal off the highway so it didn't get hit again, especially with all those babies there, because I'm Mr. Nature and Mr. Conservationist and Mr. Helper. So I pull the car over, and of course the wife and kids like, "What are you doing? Don't be so stupid." So I get out and go towards the javelina. The thing drug its dead body at me as fast as it could to try to attack me. So I jumped back in the car and drove off, and who knows whatever happened to that. But that's the kind of stuff that when I pull over here sometimes to use the nature facilities, that I think there's a cop right here, that I will keep an eye out for glassy eyes and different things out there that may or may not come after me. Police officer, how you doing, sir? Usually coming up on Wiki Up, there's one guy either on this side or the other side.